If you are looking into buying cheap and safe FIFA coins, look no further than footcoinshop.net. They have the fastest service, an incredible loyalty reward system, and the best prices around. Use my creator code Inception when you sign up for your account and get a 5% discount with your order. Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. We're streaming over at twitch.tv/inceptionxx, just absolutely suffering at 100% maximum capacity playing the gameplay and stuff. Say hello to the YouTube channel, guys. Saying what's up. Okay. Guys, today we have the new promo to talk about. They already leaked the whole entire team, and this promo is hilarious, okay? It's hilarious because look at who they have. Look at this, dude. Let me just put the feet up a little bit and do this. Brother, look at the players. I'm just gonna name names, okay? Mbappe, Musiala, Griezmann, Cancelo, Bellingham, Barella, Rafael Leao, Alvarez, Rodrygo, Saka, Gravenberch, and Klaus. Just words. I'm just gonna use words, and I feel like you guys get what I'm saying. Oh my goodness. Some of the cards here for new cards, they're W's because they have nothing. I don't even think Foden has a card, and I feel like Foden's always that guy that, you know, when they make a new card for him, it's really, really dope. But wow, we're getting leaks on a Monday for the next promo, okay? We're cooking over here. Guys, listen, for this promo, we'll be taking a look at each individual card. I mean, honestly, if you watched me reviewing some of these cards, you're gonna get promo cards in the future. We already know their base mechanics. There's gonna be improved versions of them, right? So team of the group stage is what we're looking at. So it's like they put so many of like the regular cards into, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Anyways, the first one is Glitch Mbappe. Honestly, on the SBC account, I've actually stopped using him. Not because he's bad, because he's obviously not bad. He's a great card. It just gets boring to use him, you know? They always gotta put a nice little cheeky Mbappe to just put for people to get in their packs. You know, they're like, oh my goodness, Mbappe's in the team. I gotta open packs, man. I gotta spend on those FIFA points. It's Mbappe. I don't have to say anything else. This guy is a beast, right? Play styles, he's got flair, quick step, trivela, rapid. This is different compared to some of the other cards. This is the way that they do their promos now, eh? They add variables to them, right? They change certain things. This card has power shots. The inform, it has quick step plus, right? And then the new one, I don't know, bro. Maybe they give him a finesse shot plus. That's how they're able to recycle the same meta players, but just give you new play styles, essentially, right? The next one, Musiala. Musiala, a card that already has a promo. He has the Centurion promo, right? This card right here. This is how fast these cards are getting updated right now. You know what I'm saying? Look, he's already gone down 21k because of a leak, my dude. This is why no buy players on the transfer market, because you go like this with your coins in this game. Musiala is nice though, man. I like this card. Mostly because he has technical plus. Technical plus is actually very helpful for him because he is 6 foot tall, but he does have 5-star skills. I used his rare gold card to climb to the elite division in the beginning of the year. Probably never going to do that again, but with Musiala on the technical plus, obviously fantastic stuff to work with. If you're building like a Bundesliga team, he's always pretty sick to work with. He's got nice play styles, right? First touch, flair, incisive pass. Like the build up with this card is actually pretty sick. Don't mind the fact that he's medium. He just performs well in game, and guess what? He gets a new card and he goes down 21k because it's the same dude. Griezmann. I think Griezmann's going to be the new Nkunku this year by the looks of it. How many cards do we have for Griezmann so far? All right, so we got the player of the month. We got the inform. We got the Trailblazers. They're going to do this a lot, man. I think with the new Griezmann, maybe... I don't even know what they would do to it, actually, because the card's regular stuff is finesse plus. Trailblazers is Trivela, so the way to utilize Trivela is the ball roll into the Trivela, right? 33k down as well, right? Nice little cheeky Griezmann card. Give him a nice little Hunter Chemistry style, boost the pace, boost the shooting. Really good play styles. I mean, to be fair, any version of Griezmann you get in this game is going to be a good Griezmann card. Like, he's just, even if he doesn't have finesse shot plus, it's still a sick card, right? But finesse shot plus, even after the patch, it's still pretty helpful to have for a lot of the goal scoring opportunities, right? So definitely worth looking into that for the new promo card. We have Cancelo getting another card again. This promo it's really interesting because I don't know who like votes for like who the team of the group stage is, right? Because like, can you blame EA for this? Because these are, maybe they're the best players from the team of the group stage. Tough to say, right? But João Cancelo, he has basically like 3 different cards now, because he obviously has like the new evolutions card, which, to be fair to EA, it is a different card to the Trailblazers because of 2 different variables. One is the high defensive work rates, and then 2 is the intercept plus part of the card, right? So that makes the card difference compared to a more attacking oriented fullback who is a high-low work rated player that has technical plus. So the intention of using a card like this in your team is to use them on the overlap to basically push forward. That's like the whole vibe with him, right? But yeah, that, to be fair to EA, I do like the concept of what they did to his evolutions, because it does add a different variable to him, which is really nice, right? But yeah, Cancelo again, getting another card. I mean, he has like very good play styles, right? He's got block, technical, flair, first touch, Revela, just from like the rare gold card. From the different cards here, one had a technical plus, the other one did not have anything for like the informs and stuff. So again, for a new promo, who knows what they end up giving him, right? And maybe they change his work rate to a high medium while working with some different play styles as well. We'll obviously see. Bellingham, obviously good card in this game. Very, very solid to work with. The thing that makes this card always nice to work with is the fact that he also has technical plus for a card that is taller. All of these cards are going down in price like crazy. Look at this, 56k, 26k, 30k, just going down, you know? But Bellingham is a card, yet again, on a shadow chemistry style. Very well formatted for the most part. I will say that in meta of gameplay, there are moments where you wish to have more pace, because if he had pace like this in game, but he was a lengthy, then the pace would be pushed out of the card a little bit more, but you do feel the low pace in the card. You feel the same thing with the player of the month as well, but I mean, it's still a very solid card, right? If you play him in a midfield setup where it's like 1 of 2 CDMs, where he's playing next to Tchouaméni or stuff, people, you know what people usually do actually, is that some people don't really care about the work rates that much, and they just rock De Jong with Bellingham, and they just go like that, you know? I'm not even joking, that happens so many times. But yeah, Tchouaméni obviously would be nice, Radioactive specifically just because of the chemistry links and stuff, but another version of his card. I mean, I don't think they're going to change the playstyle too much. They didn't really do, like, because this one has Relentless plus, this one has Technical plus, right? Which one do I prefer more than the other? I mean, they're both pretty good to work with. In the midfield, Relentless is actually an underrated trait, if anything. It's actually very solid to work with. But yeah, Bellingham for another card. Barella, you guys know earlier in the year, they released a Barella card. The problem with this Barella card is that it's an okay card. It's just, I didn't really agree with his price, 312k. Even right now, I don't agree with his price. I've used him in my teams in general with a shadow chemistry style. You know, he's definitely best played in the CDM position next to somebody else. He actually plays that role pretty nicely. I just think the price was a little bit up there for what he offered, generally speaking, but it's still a decent card. A lot of these SBCs, sometimes they're overpriced, but like they still perform well in game. People are like, oh, but this guy scored 4 goals against me. Yeah, but you also spent like 1.5 million on the SBC, basically, with your fodder and all that kind of stuff. So it's always important to mention these things, because there's always midfielders that you can get that will basically be able to provide the same thing. Now with Serie A, it's a little bit different, because I think I even mentioned this during that time period too, that with the Serie A, they haven't really done too much with the club. They did release recently a Benacer card, which is actually a really, really underrated good card. I want to see if I can get him for the Road to Glory, honestly, because I like his playstyle. His playstyle in game is actually very solid, but you can see that you don't really have a lot of options for the midfield setup for the playstyle that they offer, right? There is also Loftus-Cheek that was recently released as a gameplay objective, which, to be fair, was a pretty cool gameplay objective. But, you know, Barella, one of the few cards that kind of offers what he does. You would have to get more expensive players like Claudio Marchisio and stuff for that to kind of really be a prevalent thing in game. But very important to mention that Marchisio is a little bit taller to work with, and those guys are very nice to have. But the smaller players after the patch, they have been a little bit better to work with too. Like even players like Conte's evolution cards is a little bit better to work with too. I've used them on the SBC accounts for some of that. But yeah, another card for him with Barella. Playstyles wise in game, he has Relentless plus, Tiki Taka, Slide Tackle, so a couple of cool things to work with, of course. Saka, honestly, I don't really think Saka has any sort of base mechanics that make him decent. I'm not really a huge fan of this card. I mean, it was one of those cards that's expensive on the market, but it just doesn't really translate that well in game. Like, you could have given him a lot of upgrades for this card in particular, and it still would kind of feel weird. Now, what I will say is that from what I'm looking at right now, there has been a few changes that makes it a little bit nicer, right? Like, for me, this card is kind of like well formatted for like a hawk or a hunter now, because I haven't used them since that time period. But I'm curious to see what the dribbling is like on the card with the 90s nowadays, lean body type 5'10". But when I initially tried him, I didn't feel like he had like base mechanics that I like really liked for longevity, you know what I'm saying? But obviously with him being a right-sided left-footed player, it's helpful to kind of like rotate in game as well. So not too bad there, but that's going to be the new card. Rodrygo, another Rodrygo card. This guy's received an Inform, a Trailblazers, and then we also have the player, no, not player of the month, it's just Trailblazers. That's the main SBC. This card is still used in a lot of people's teams, to be honest. He's solid. He's a very 50-50 player for a lot of people. I personally, I'm on the side of liking him a little bit more than like disliking him, but it's not like it's not a bad card by any means, right? You give him the first touch plus is kind of irrelevant. I think for the new promo, I would see them giving him like a different playstyle plus, because like I don't really care too much about like having first touch, you know, all these kind of things. It's not as like relevant as some of the other things that you could potentially have, right? But maybe for him, I would say a rapid would be nice. You know, working with a quick step and a rapid on a hunter chemistry style would be a W for him, in my opinion. Obviously with the improved card, maybe he ends up being better than this one, right? Because 85, 86, 87, the difference might be the exact same, right? For the new card. He might be still expensive on the market because it's Real Madrid, Brazilian. People always want to work with that type of stuff too. Alvarez is like an okay card. He doesn't really have like a, you know, we've been talking about it in the stream, right? He doesn't have like an aura about him, in my opinion. He definitely doesn't feel like he has an aura. This card was definitely overpriced like crazy, in my opinion. I definitely mentioned that a lot. To be fair though, I have faced him, and people can't, like, here's the thing. People can score goals with him, right? But just because people can score goals with him doesn't make the card like worth the value of the SBC. Like I said, you can get a card that's like, I can get a rare gold Correa and he'll be able to score like goals for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could get certain cards that are not as valuable and they'll score goals. Alvarez is just like, he's kind of like a weird card. He's formatted in a way where, honestly, I even mentioned this in the review video, like, but I would use them as like a cam, as a right attacking mid specifically. He kind of has the capabilities of that specifically, because on a hunter chemistry style, pace is higher, shooting's in a better area. The dribbling is not as crazy to work with, right? Because he's short and lean minus. There's like a small physical element to him, right? But on a hunter, he's got the high work rates. If you use him on the right side, you can actually cook a little bit. Relentless plus is not bad when you play him in a role like a right attacking position because of the push forward comeback, right? It's the attacking and defending that I feel like is helpful to work with, right? Pope is a goalkeeper. He's gonna be like a tall guy. Looking into the goalkeepers is not as relevant because they either perform like well in game or they don't. Like, that's the situation with them. Rafael Leao, our trigger merchant for the most part. It's basically the step over acceleration merchant. That's pretty much what he is, right? Like, if you dust people for pace with this card, he's gone. SBC, even when it was at 400k, I think that's what it was during that time period when I reviewed him, even that was too expensive for this card compared to the rare gold that is a +1 difference, right? So one of those SBCs that EA was a little bit ridiculous with, for sure. Whoever did this SBC, they just had like extra fodder like crazy, right? Or the people that just want to have like a Portuguese team. Like, some people have shown me their Portuguese teams, and that's like the main variable with him. But obviously, Trailblazers, if you pack this card, he has Finesse Shot Plus. Finesse Shot Plus is a pretty huge variable to work with as well, right? But he's an art trigger merchant. These cards, honestly, for me, like, I know that they're good in game, but I personally don't really like them that much. And Leao's my boy IRL. Like, I love this guy, right? But he's like very physical. So you have to kind of like work with those physical elements. But it's not just, he's one of those cards that I personally am not crazy about, but I know that he's good in the game. One of the very few in that way, right? Like, it's just because of that play style, like just being an art trigger merchant, like, he's crazy, right? And then the play styles, we'll see what they end up doing with that too. Matt Hummel's just a usable version of him. He's probably gonna be like fodder for the most part for a lot of people, because I don't see them improving the pace to be good enough. Not in the way that they did like Harry Maguire's Player of the Month card, no chance, right? I think the most interesting card here, honestly, is Foden. I think Foden's the most interesting because a lot of these cards, we've already received them and they're meta, obviously, to work with, but I think Foden is the most interesting one because he doesn't have anything yet, right? So Foden, as a rare gold card, right? There's not even like an evolution for this guy, but this guy, he has a lot of potential, right? He has a lot of potential for the play style that I enjoy playing, because even for last year's game, you know, using him and Bernardo Silva in the same team was really sick. For Foden, if he gets the right improvements in the pace department, because his pace split really sucks, if they can somehow put both the acceleration and sprint speed near a 95 and not split it the way that they have, he'd be a really sick card to use in the side areas, right? However, I think that in the future, it's probably going to be a card that you use in the cam position. And honestly, I wouldn't be against that either, right? Because he would still be a nice cam. You know, his shooting would be in a better area, his pace would be in a better area. Play styles wise, they probably have to give him a little bit more just to make the card interesting from the group stage, the team of the group stage, right? But yeah, Foden usually has a card that's like pretty decent. Last year they released like a showdown card, and it was a good card, but again, they had overpriced those bad boys like crazy. But the showdown was pretty decent, especially after he got the upgrade to work with. But the prices, man, the prices of those showdowns, I hate showdown cards with a passion, but you guys know me with that. Tademi, obviously my boy, FC Porto player. Don't really see anybody really using an FC Porto team, gonna be honest, especially with like the evolutions, because you can evo these players, but they're not going to be like super ideal. Now, for a physical type player, he could be decent, right? Especially if you give him the hunter chemistry style to boost the pace and the shooting as much as possible. You would have to work with the dribbling, of course, but maybe if they make him feel like a Benzema, that'd be the only thing they could do. If they somehow made him feel like a Benzema, like that's what they would have to do to make them a little bit more usable. But tough to say if they would ever do that for those cards. Rom is actually a W card too, especially if he gets that physical boost for base card stats, because with this card, you would be able to provide him with a shadow chemistry style if the physical is high enough. This is a card that's a nice card to get because obviously he provides you very good chemistry links with the Bundesliga players, Red Bull Leipzig players as well. So that's not a bad card to get as well if you're building that sort of team, which to be fair, I don't really see Bundesliga that much, but you know, that's if people actually do that. So the two cards that are actually interesting here, it's now that I've noticed the second one, is Hakimi as well. Hakimi is going to be a good card to get. I can see pro players actually using him for competitive events, especially if they need the link to Mbappe's card. With Hakimi in game, also as a card that does not have a promo card, right? So now that he's going to get a better version, it's a W, because with a new version, you're probably going to be able to provide him with the anchor chemistry style on the new card, because base card stats for pace, defense, and physicality will be on the higher side, right? So obviously going to be very important to take a look at this card as well. Hakimi's rare gold card is actually pretty nice in game too. I've used him for a bit for some of the player reviews, and he was solid, right? But obviously needs those boosts as well. He's nice on the overlap instruction, especially, right? He's always been like this for every single year, but yeah, that's probably gonna be the one of two main cards that's actually unique here. We have an Eredivisie CDM. Unless this guy is a medium high, I'm not really too invested in him. Let's see if he is. Shooten. This guy's playstyles does have anticipate, which is a W, and he is medium high. So for the Eredivisie guys, if they improve this card to be high enough, it could be a decent player. But he's also controlled on this card, so it would have to be a controlled lengthy for the new card in the future. But again, I think with this card, definitely gonna be fodder for the most part for a lot of people. Klaus is actually underrated. I think with this card, there's a lot of potential with him too. He has the other card as well, like just this Europa League card. The main problem with him right now is that, again, it's very similar to Llorente as well. Like when Llorente was a rare gold card, and then they made him an Evo, the difference of being able to provide him a shadow to an anchor and then you boost the physical for the Evo was a really big deal. So it could be a very similar situation to the Klaus card as well, because if you see this card right now on an anchor chemistry style, he does get very good improvements. So if they give him like a +2, +3 for pace, defense, and physical, it's a pretty nice card to get in the right back position, providing you the French links with a little bit of extra physical to work with, because at the end of the day, he's 5'10" with a lean body type, so he's not always going to offer that physical regardless, but he does have good play styles, right? He's got relentless to work with the work rates and as a fullback that could potentially attack. He's got anticipate, whipped pass, anticipate, excuse me. So it's pretty decent. I still have this card for my SBC account too, just in case I need the links in the squad. Boniface, I'm not really into the physical type strikers. Again, the only one that I'm into is honestly Benzema. Benzema's like I can use a rare gold Benzema and that card would still cook. I wish I got him on the RTG account, honestly. But yeah, Boniface is one as well. Gravenberg is obviously pretty cool because with this card in game, he does get a pretty significant boost for the new version. But the thing is that this card, he also received an evolutions that was pretty nice, right? So Centurion's box-to-box midfielder, if you chose to do this, if you were crazy enough to do this, in my opinion, if you're crazy enough, this is more for like the Liverpool fans because that was too good to not use on Llorente, to be honest with you, right? But it's still a nice card, right? Obviously, Shadow Chemistry Style, boost acceleration, sprint speed, as well as defense, makes him a pretty solid card to work with. Very big guy in the midfield area too. And then the last one is Ranieri, which is a center back, which if he doesn't have anything too crazy, it's not going to be that interesting of a card. So let's see, Ranieri. Is this Claudio Ranieri's son or something? Maybe it is. Does he look like him? I mean, you can kind of maybe see a little bit of a resemblance, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Shadow Chemistry Style, controlled player. Definitely needs to be on a lengthy intercept. Looks like fodder for the most part. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the team of the group stage. I mean, we'll see what they start doing with like SBCs. Hopefully the SBC stuff is good, man, because sometimes they do promos and the SBCs are like really, really generic, honestly. But yeah, bunch of cards that we've already received before. They're going to get meta cards again. The only ones that are interesting for the meta of the game for the future is probably going to be Pope, because he has a new card that's meta, Foden and Hakimi, I would say. And then maybe like, there's other cards too that are good, but they already have promos, you know what I'm saying? So they already have like cards from before. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.